back with another Scrapmingle where new meets old, and we're still working with the October afternoon treasure map collection, and this is all I have left. It's just one 12 by 12 sheet, this one, and a little bit of this, and one more small piece. And so this time I actually have a little bit of an idea of where I want to go starting off, so I thought I would kind of share that with you. Since I only have this one sheet, I'm planning on taking the white cardstock and centering it inside of here. So I'm going to cut out the center of that star paper so I can have a little bit more of it for the top. I have just one photo, and it's one of my son and my daughter, and I'll try to share the story behind it later. But I know I want this really long title. I've had this quote in my head for a couple of years that I wanted to do with the two of them, and I ran across this photo, and it's going to be perfect with it. So what I plan on doing is just creating a long central design with this photo and the quote going above and below it and being the main focus, and then I will just have some banner pieces and some matting, and so that's what I have so far. So let's get started and see where we go. Okay, so I trimmed about 1 inch off 2 sides of my white cardstock and then just inked it and matted it on this. I'm going to use this banner, and I think I'm just going to put that behind, and now I'm ready to do my title. And so I'm going to pull out the new Artistry Cricut Cartridge, and it has this great new trendy font, and so I'm going to go to the Cricut Craft Room and design it because I want some words really bigger and some smaller. So I'll put in a snapshot here of the screen of the title, and then I'm thinking some of the stash that I'm pulling in, I'm still working with this crepe paper collection, and so I think I'm going to mix the font with the red and the blue here. Maybe put the bigger letters in the red and the smaller title part in the blue. So I'm going to do that now. So the great thing about designing in Cricut Craft Room or the Cricut Design Space, if you're running the new Cricut Explorer, is you can lay your title out, and I set it all up in the way that I wanted on the layout so that I could kind of test the sizes of the font that I wanted, because I knew I wanted some larger and then some being smaller. And also on the mat I can use my scrap, so I've just laid my blue paper up here and my red down here so that I can just run it through my cutter one time. So it makes making titles really quick, and you can really personalize them to each layout, to the size. You don't have to worry about if you have the right size of font or not in your thickers or other alphabets. Okay, and then I pulled this other piece of the treasure map paper out because I'm thinking about maybe double matting that where I have just a little bit darker, and then putting this striped paper back here on the background. But I'm going to lay my title out and kind of see how it's looking and color-wise and stuff, and if it's going to be too busy or not. Instead of trying to adhere all of these letters down, I'm going to go ahead and use my little Xyron sticker maker to put them all through. So running these through the Xyron makes really quick work of putting a long title on with this many letters. Since all of the letters were cut separate, they're not welded together and stuff, so it could have been really tedious, and I would have ended up getting them really probably cattywampus. So one little tip that I have for you, when you run them through here, if you will take like a credit card, or like this is the little scraper for the Cricut mats, and then just rub over the top of those, it helps get all of that adhesive down onto that letter, because a lot of times if you've used this, you might have noticed that when you take the letters off, you get all these like stringy things, and then your layout is sticky. So by doing that, and I even use my hand because it seems like the warmth from your hand kind of helps too, to get it all on there. And then you'll notice I had one that got flipped upside down, and so now the sticky's on the front side, but I'm okay with that because I can get the sticky off. I have the little rub gummy eraser deal that you can just rub over sticky stuff, and it'll take the adhesive right off. Now the other thing that I like to do is just cut it down into smaller chunks, and since I wanted to ink around the edges to make this lighter blue paper stand out better, then I'm just going ahead and inking while it's on there. And that way I'm going to get a whole lot less on my hands, and you know, it works just fine. So that's another little quick tip for you if you're doing titles with lots of individual letters. Just ink and do everything while they're on the sticky sheet. Okay, so I went ahead and I matted this photo onto the dark brown wood grain with the anchors. And then I'm just centering it, like I discussed earlier, going down the center of the page, and my title is going to be built above and below it. Okay, so I went ahead and on this backing material, I rearranged all the letters where they were going the right direction, and so that I could kind of lay it on there better. And then my last tip for using these Xyrons is keep your sticky sheet, lay it over your titles when they're on the page, and rub again, and that way you don't get dirty smudges if you've touched the adhesive, if there is adhesive standing out around the edges or whatever. You can press all of those letters down where they're adhered really tight to your page, making sure they're completely adhered down, and then it also helps pick up any extra sticky that might be out away from those letters. And so normally if I do all of those things, by the time I'm done, I don't have any of those issues with the sticky stuff, the extra sticky. And if I did, I would just use my little gum eraser to go around it to pick it up, or you could use your powder tool or baby powder, you know, something like that. Okay, so I went ahead and put all this out. You can tell on my title, I've got like 4 different sizes of fonts, and I chose to use the Brother and the Superhero and the red paper so that it would stand out more. And now I'm just taking all of the embellishments that I shared in the first video. If you've not been following along with the Scrapmingle series, then be sure to back up. I'll put a link down below in the description on YouTube and also on my blog, if you're following on my blog, to the whole series of the Scrapmingles. But it's just basically starting out with one collection. This is the October Afternoon Treasure Map, adding in things from my stash to expand it so that I don't have to stop buying the new product. And so real quickly, I used some crepe paper, and the Journey Collection cork stickers. I used my Cricut Artistry Cartridge. The cameras are Evalicious, the Studio Calico 7 paper puffy stickers, the Heidi Swapp speech bubble, my Xyron, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So this photo, I wanted to kind of just talk a little bit about it. These are my 2 children, and they have the closest relationship I think I've ever seen siblings have, and they just make me proud. I am just so honored to be their mom. And they were born on the same day, 4 years apart, and they are just like twins, but yet they are almost polar opposites. But they can finish each other's sentences, and they are just so tight. And this photo was taken at the end of one of their jobs when they were both working at a summer kids camp that our church owns. And I've had this quote written in my journal for a long time that I wanted to do it, and I wanted to find a photo. And when I was looking through photos, I saw this, and I recently had just looked at this quote again, and I thought it was perfect because my son has his Captain America shirt on, and my daughter just looks up to him and just thinks he hung and set the moon and the stars and everything else in the galaxy. And so I thought it was just kind of perfect. And they're both smiling, nice smiles. If you follow along, you know my son just likes to give me grief and give me cheesy grins and all of that. So the photo was perfect for the quote, and I loved this new font. So I am so glad to finally get this done. And I went ahead and just did my journaling all around the outside edge, and it just talks about how much I love them and their relationship with each other, and how I view it and see just from a mother's perspective and on the outside looking in. So that's it. That's just my story. So if you're interested in the Cricut cartridge, you can find the links at the end, and you can order from myscrappyideas.ctmh.com. I've had more information on videos and blog posts as well, so look at those. So thanks for joining. And we will try to get one more layout done from this collection. And then I may take a break. I'm going to be gone for a while. And so I'll fill you in on that next week. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you real soon. Bye.